Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So I don't know if you've already come across this series of videos which I started last week. They're called How to Dress Like You, and they aim at helping you unleash yourself through style. But this video is the first episode of another series which aim this time at helping you unleash your confidence. Before you begin to wonder, I don't do patronizing or I don't do cheesy. At least I try not to, because I really want to punch myself when I do that. I mean, how many times have you read in magazines or heard on TV that you need to love yourself and embrace your beauty? That sounds really cheesy. I can't deal with this. Even if, yes, you should love yourself and embrace your beauty, but this is another conversation. So if anything, I'm quite pushy or bossy. I mean, that's what my friends tell me. I don't know how I should take that. But anyway, let's do some pushing around. What are you putting up with? What are the things or the people that you put up with? Because we took to say life is hard to an extreme. Yes, life is hard. You're going to lose people that you love. You're going to get hurt a lot. You're going to cry a hell of a lot. But apart from that, life doesn't have to be hard. And we put up with so many things unconsciously because we just think that it's kind of part of the deal. That's life. That's life. But you don't have to. Especially us women. We are so often meant to think that we have to be kind, patient and sweet, tolerant and sensible, and there's plenty more nonsense from where these ones come from. So we tend to deal with what sits in front of us when really, we don't have to. We really don't have to. So it's time to start to unclutter. I want to be the best friend I'll ever have, but I've spent so many years of my life bullying myself, and then I realized it wasn't working. It wasn't working for me to have a douchey Freddie in my head, and it wasn't working for douchey Freddie because she would always get it wrong. No, I'm not stupid. I'm not a loser either. You're wrong again. It just wasn't working. It had to stop. We broke up. But what do best friends do? You know, they love you and they want to help you and they want to see you happy. I know, it sounded a bit cheesy, but this one had to be said though. So my new best friend and I have decided to unclutter many years of self-bullying, and I suggest that you have a try too. Think about 30 things that really bother you and write them down on a list. Yes, 30. If you can't think of 30, just try harder. Even the small things, everything. Because how can you unclutter if you don't have an inventory first? And how can you get rid of these things that bother you if you don't have, like if you don't acknowledge what these things are, have them down on a piece of paper so you can have a clear view of all of these things that you deal with, that you put up with, but that bother you. It might be tedious, it might be painful, but I'm telling you, it can't be as painful as it is to put up with these things. So I was discussing uncluttering with the boy the other day, and he told me that we have these trees outside our flat that are not trimmed perfectly, and apparently he drives him mad. So he was asking me if this could go on the list. Well, yes, put that on the list. If it bothers you, if it drives you mad, check it on the list. The aim here is not to dwell on the negative. It's not to complain about the small stuff. It's just to have this clear view of all of these things that you deal with that bother you, that you have enough of. You put them on a piece of paper so you have a really clear sight on them and you know what you need to work on. Then you're going to see different categories of these things with your list. You're going to see the category of these really small things that actually you can decide to ignore, you can decide not to be upset about. Then you're going to see some other small things that actually have a strong impact on how you feel. For example, imagine you have this alarm which goes off every morning, but the ringtone is really horrible. And every morning it puts you in a horrible mood. You're in a bad mood and it takes you hours to snap out of this. So you get to work and you're not as proactive, maybe for the first few hours, you're not as cheerful with your workmates, it doesn't matter, it's just ruining your morning. This goes on the list too. And then you're going to see these big things where most of the work is needed. Let me give you an example of a small thing. I was following this person on Instagram and she started to hit the gym really hard. So I just thought, great, you're going to motivate me because I hate the gym and I hate working out. But working out is meant to make you happy, right? So I really wanted to get involved there. But every time I would see her photos on my timeline, it would have another effect. It would actually make me feel really bad. It would make me feel guilty. But but it would not make me want to go to the gym. It was quite the contrary. So I asked myself, why do I put up with this? This person didn't do anything wrong. She was inspiring lots of women to work out and look after themselves, but it just wasn't working for me. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to try to go to the gym. It just means that maybe I need another motivator. So why would I put up with this? Ciao, au revoir, bye, I'm done. If it's not serving you, you don't need it. It's as simple as that. And if you think you're being selfish, well, think again. Remember, you are your best friend now. And what would your best friend want from you? You know, what would she want for you? She would want you to stop worrying about these things. She would want you to get rid of all of the things that annoy you. You're actually doing something great here because you're caring, you see? And you are the only best friend you're guaranteed to have for the rest of your life. The other might come and go, but you are the person that's going to be there forever. So you have to invest in that relationship. We don't need the guilt. We keep thinking that we do, but we don't. No pain, no gain. Sorry, you can get the gain without the pain, actually. So this week, why don't you just find some time to put down these 30 things that you put up with, have this heart-to-heart conversation with yourself, you know, with loads of honesty and balls. You know, just put everything down. Put everything down there, everything that you put up with, everything that bother you, everything that sets you off, all of these things. Put them down, and then we can start to get rid of these things. So same time next week, you just come back and we're going to work on this. I need to go now because I have a list to update. Speak to you next week. Bye bye. You would be surprised the amount of things you can get away with when you have a French accent. It's actually complicated. I mean, everything sounds the same. Beach, beach. Do you go to the beach? Do you go to the beach? Bed sheets, bed sheet. Sheet, shit, sheet. It's so complicated. I give up.